So you want to save $15,000. If you want to do it in 3 months, that's $5,000 a month. If you want to do it in 6 months, that's $2,500 a month. And if you want to do it in 12 months, that's $1,250 each and every month. The easiest way to save $15,000 is with automation. More on that in a moment. Look, I always tell my clients, if saving $5,000 a month isn't realistic, don't force it. Setting unreachable goals will only frustrate you. But over time, doing this should be no problem. Instead, let me show you how I help clients save realistic amounts of money for their situation based on their actual expenses. Okay, I'm gonna walk you through a client. This is a client that I'm like midway working with right now. I've changed all of their names, obviously, so I'm not revealing any of their pertinent client information, but just a couple highlights. This client is taking home about $14,000, call it $15,000 a month. You can see a breakdown here. Their expenses, $8,000 and change, pushing $9,000, $3,000 a month for spending. So their total burn rate is closer to $12,000. So we can see down here that they're saving about, after we've kind of walked through a lot of this process together, about $2,500 a month. So again, nothing crazy. I'm not like, reaching when I say $2,500 a month that you can save. Here's a great example of someone doing that right now. So a couple things to consider when people fill this out for the first time, when they become a client, we want to see where they are. They did not start out with $2,500 left over. I think they were just a few $100, maybe definitely under $1,000, not like $200, but probably closer to $800 on paper. Again, very normal for people to have money left over on paper, but that doesn't mean it's actually getting saved. And we define savings as crossing that threshold, leaving checking, going into savings or an investment account. Okay. Just a couple highlights here. All of my clients have these spending accounts. And so we have these frameworks here. So it goes out to a separate spending account each and every week for clients. This is a massive game changer because so many people get paid whatever they get paid. Maybe they put some money in a 401k, but they just spend whatever's left over. And most people have different bills coming out each paycheck. And so that creates this like feast and famine cycle, even if you make the same amount of money every month. Because we know for most people, the first of the month is when all the bills come out. And then in the second paycheck, people have typically more money to spend. And guess what they do? They spend more money. And so this stresses us out, whether you realize it or not, and taxes our central nervous system. When we have consistency in our life, we're able to calm down. So by having a weekly cash infusion, 10 times easier to do this. So in this example, I realized that there's a lot of overlap, a lot of things that we can recover and add to their free cash flow, like some of the things that would be falling under the spending amount that basically we can recoup, like something like dog food as an example that they've allocated for. We've already technically allocated for that in their spending money. So these are further savings that I can go back and recoup. So just fun fact there, including, I don't want to roast them too hard in case they watch this video, even though it's anonymized, but basically there's a couple things like, haircuts, maybe that's not a great example, but a couple things like DMV stuff, driver's license, like that would be accounted for in another area like savings bucket. So anyway, there's more money to be saved. Here's what I'm trying to say. So a couple things here you can see that they paid off some of these debts. They're not listed here any longer because they were paid off. We wrapped some things up into a home equity line of credit, which actually included this vehicle payment. We were able to free up some significant money there for them. So I know that and I'm saying this conservatively, I know I saved them at least $800 a month just in debt by optimizing how we pay the debt and getting it off credit cards, etc. So that was certainly a contributing factor to them being able to save this money. In addition to that, I love to bring even clients this slide over and over again because the goal is we want to get a month ahead. These clients are more than a month ahead now, and they're about to have these really good conversations about where they use their savings, because the challenge is so many people want to just free up cash flow and then just pay off all their debt, which is a poor person's mentality. Okay, you have to break that mentality. If you just focus only on paying debt, you're just racing to zero. You're not building any wealth at all. And so we have to use our free cash flow to hit these competing interests. So we can, with automation especially, pay down debt, build emergency funds, further add in savings buckets, and invest. And so that's what I recommend for all clients. We work together to find the numbers that make sense for them based on their goals. So that could look like, again, with $2,500 here, breaking that down into 4 equal parts. We could put some to debt, some to emergency fund, some to savings buckets, and some to investing. Again, everyone's situation is going to be different. Here's the hard truth. Changing your behavior overnight is next to impossible. Most people fail because they rely on willpower. They plan to save whatever's left at the end of the month, but the leftover money disappears disappears. That is why I can't shut up about automation. When you automate your savings, you remove decision-making entirely. The money moves to your savings before you can spend it. This is why most Americans build wealth through their homes and retirement accounts like their 401k, according to the US Census Bureau. When you pay your mortgage each month, you build equity without having to even think about it. With the 401k, money goes straight from your paycheck into this retirement account before you can even spend it. These systems work because they don't need your constant decision every single month. You set it up once and the wealth building happens automatically over time. Now, let me show you exactly how to set something like this up. Okay, so back to the spreadsheet. It's very normal that a lot of people start with expenses, and when people first become a client, they just barf out all their numbers on the spreadsheet, which gives me an overview, and we tweak where we can. But the main thing that I start with actually is not what they're saving, but we want to start with their spending and make sure that we have reasonable numbers here because we're about sustainability. We can always save more money in the future, but we want to make sure that we're doing it in a responsible way today, that we're not like tightening our belt too much, that we aren't allowed to have any fun. We can't like go out to eat ever or whatever it is for you and your family or however you want to do that. But we want to make sure it's sustainable. Then we come up here to see, hey, where are we starting day one? Okay, great. We've got, again, in this case, we've already got 2,500, so we're doing great now. Again, the things I'll look for is, are there areas to save in the expenses? Like the joke for me and my family, how do we have 10 streaming services, right? We're watching 3 of them. Let's be real, cut out the fat, and then we have to get the money. Like if we were in this example, going to say, I'm just making it up, Amazon Prime, let's say we save $15, not that that's gigantic, but we trim that, and then we would basically get that savings up into a high yield savings account. People need the money out of sight, out of mind, so that we don't spend it, because money is like a gas that we have to tell it where to go, otherwise it's just going to disappear. Okay, so basically we just start where we are and we save what we can where we can. We optimize the debt as much as possible, and I want to bring your attention to some of these things. So basically this is what clients look like when we just get going. They've got their current bank that they pay their bills at. We open up a spending account. We open up a high yield savings account, getting cash flow up into the high yield savings. And then once they get a certain number, then we flip the switch. Then we deposit directly into the high yield savings. This is an absolute mind-blowing game changer for variable income peeps, okay? If you have variable income, bonus, commission, whatever, even if you are salaried, every salaried employee, 2 months of the year, you're gonna get a third paycheck. Combine that with a tax return, you're saving $5,000 to $15,000. Fight me without lifting a finger. If we just make this one change to change where you direct deposit your money. Here is the mammoth, long-term, game-changing, life-changing thing about all this. Because we are optimizing your bills, we're cutting out all the garbage, we are putting you on a weekly cash infusion. No matter how much more money you make, you get the same weekly cash infusion. And by the way, increase it. If you get a pay raise, if, whatever, you're at a place where you're hitting these goals and you're putting money away, hey, by all means, increase the money. You get a pay raise, like increase your lifestyle 50%, invest 50%, and you will dominate the personal finance game. But the reality is most people are living reactionary to this. They're like, oh my gosh, I got a pay raise. Where'd all the money go, right? If that's you, time to do something different. So again, this optimizes your bills, optimizes the spending so that as you get a pay raise, any additional money, whatever it is, gets deferred to be saved automatically. And again, once you have 3 to 6 months, you don't have to keep adding to that savings. Invest that money. Increase your lifestyle, go on better vacations, do what you want to do, but you have the ability to do this with clarity now, with the click of a button. Saving $15,000 doesn't have to be overwhelming. These strategies can work for anyone, but only if you take action as soon as possible. Because it's not just about savings, it's your future, your kids, your family's future. If you need a detailed guide on how to automate your income and break the paycheck to paycheck cycle for your family forever, just head over to roguefinance.us/blueprint and grab your copy today. But if you need more personalized help, I offer one-on-one and group coaching for 6-figure earners. Book a call in the description and I'll hold your hand and walk you through the automation that builds your wealth in 90 days or less. Automation Nation, thanks for watching.